Hey guys, I'm Pentelis. I'm currently 940 LP, rank 2 in North America, and today I'll be talking about the new season changes. So I've been playing a lot of the new season, and I hit a 10 game win streak doing pretty well on my Smurf account that's promoting to Challenger, so I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about these changes. But yeah, in this video I'll talk about what's new with the new season and how it affects solo queue, and I'll be listing the changes from most important to least important. By far, the most important change in the new season is the tier 3 boot upgrades going from 750 gold to 500 gold. In the last season, these tier 3 boots upgrades were okay, I think. In most games, you wouldn't see a lot of people buying it. Maybe some people will buy it after a third item, but not a lot of people did. But after they they buffed the cost of this by 33%, these boots are a must click after 2 items. Once you finish your 2 legendary items, you should immediately click these new boots whenever you have a chance, because at 500 gold, these boots are so good, right? Now, why is this an important change? Well, one, you have to buy the boots after 2 legendary items, but the second reason why this is the most important change of the patch is the way it warps how feats work, right? Before, the feats were not that useful in my opinion last season. They gave you a small armor or MR boost, or like maybe a bit more magic pen, maybe a bit more movement speed if you have the Swifties boost. But in general, the feats were only worth like 100 gold on each player. Now, since the cost of this has went down from 750 gold to 500 gold, the feats are now basically worth 300 gold for each player. This is because I believe the true cost of most of these boots are somewhere around 700 gold, and since you can buy it for 200 gold less than like the true cost of these boots, you basically get 200 gold for free once you hit your 2 legendary items plus tier 3 boot spike. So yeah, since the tier 3 boots are getting nerfed in price, this makes the feats much more important. The value of getting the feats has basically jumped up from 500 gold to 1500 gold, so it is 3 times as important to get these feats. What this means is that early game champions benefit a lot, since a lot of the early game feats, a lot of the times the feats will be done in early game, right? 3 kills normally done before 10 minutes in a game. First tower probably done before or right after tower falls, and 3 objectives can be done with 2 dragons and the Grubs, or 2 dragons and the Rift Herald. So yeah, since these tier 3 boots upgrades are getting cheaper, you should buy them if you can whenever you have the chance, and you should try to get the feats a lot more often now, since they are so valuable due to the boots nerf. The second most important change of the new season is the removal of the second Void Grubs. Riot Games made it so that there's no 2 Void Grubs. Void Grubs only spawns once in 8 minutes. And also, if you kill all 3 Void Grubs, you don't get the 2 Void Mites, you only get 1 Void Mite. The reason why this is significant is because this basically makes a Void Grubs kind of like a useless objective. If you only get 1 Void Mite, it's like a fourth of the value as if you get 2 Void Mites. So the Void Grubs aren't very useful, except in relation to the feats I was talking about earlier. If you kill all 3 Void Grubs, you basically get 1 feat counted towards the 3 objective feats. And in my opinion, the Void Grubs is most useful for getting that single feat towards objective feats. Otherwise, the Void Grubs would be basically a useless objective that you should never hit. This basically is a huge nerf to Void Grubs, making it so that previously, if you got 6 Void Grubs, they would be almost as good as getting 2 dragons. But now, these Void Grubs are basically worth half a dragon. You shouldn't feel bad giving it up, and you shouldn't be in a hurry to take the objective, right? It's not that important for the objective to take anymore, and it's honestly just barely worth your time. What this means is now that top lane has gone back sort of to its role of becoming an island, right? And a lot of the times in a lot of my games, I found myself pathing back down because I know if I path back up, if I path up in my first clear, then I'm stuck at a useless spot when dragon spawns. And when dragon spawns, you kind of want to be near dragon because that's when it's a really good time to take dragon, especially if you have bot prio. So these Void Grub spawns, Void Grub changes basically makes it half as useful as it was before, and it encourages the game to be played around bot lane a lot more often, basically making top lane back into the island that it deserves. In addition to these changes, there's a small Rift Herald change. It spawns at 15 minutes and it no longer has the single target damage debuff. I barely noticed this change. It's not actually important at all to the game. With the new season, we also saw a rework to Audica. Now instead of Voracious and Ruinous Audica spawning, there's only one Audica in this game, Thornbell Aon. The interesting thing about this Audica is that I feel like this icon is just slightly stronger than the Ruinous icon, but definitely weaker than the Voracious icon. The GA buff from Voracious icon was insane, but this icon has a slightly more tame effect, right? If you get this icon, you get Cleanse Bloody Petals, which gives you a bit more value on the Bloody Petals you have. But the more important part is that on takedown, bless the area around the target, slowing and damaging other nearby enemies, as well as granting your spirit team a spirit petal. This basically means that if you kill an enemy in a fight, you get a pretty big slow and you deal 15% of nearby enemies' current health damage. This is sort of like a weaker Lissandra passive, but this is still a pretty big buff to your team, and it lasts a whole game, which is pretty nice. In addition to the one spirit petal you get per kill, this Autocon is basically, I would say, 1.25 times stronger than the previous Ruinous Autocon. And one interesting thing about this Autocon is that unlike the previous Ruinous Autocon, you just have to kill the Autocon in order to get the buff, right? With the old Ruinous Autocon, you had to like stay around and wait for somebody to pick up the flowers, but now you just kill it and you can just run away. It's sort of like a Baron buff, it's sort of like a Dragon buff, and it makes the fights around this Autocon much more like a normal team fight. But anyways, if you see this icon is much easier to do than the previous icon because you don't have to stay around to pick up the flowers, and it helps your team a decent amount, so get this icon whenever you can. Finally, the last important change of this patch is a change to how the bounty system works. Before, if you were the only person ahead on your team and the rest of your team is behind, your team could be basically down in gold, but you would still have a bounty. But now they made it so that the bounties, that basically no team gets bounties unless if one team is basically, I would say, like 3k gold ahead of the other team. This makes it so that in close games you don't have to worry about losing your bounty in team fights, and you can play your life a lot more if you're the one fed person in the fight. It also means for the enemy team that you shouldn't really value the kill on the fed target as much, because you're not getting much extra gold from killing this target. This change isn't very important, but it allows people to solo carry the game a lot more, and I feel like while playing this patch, I've gotten tripped up by the bounty system a lot, right? There's a lot of times I kill a fed person and I'm just sitting there wondering, where's my 700 gold bounty? But it turns out the bounties were suppressed because the enemy team were basically the same gold as me. So this is something that you should watch out for, but after you play enough of this season, you should get used to it. Something sort of related to this, I don't know where it is in the patch notes, but they basically buffed the gold you get per kill later on in the game to up to 420. This doesn't have that much impact on the game, except it speeds up the game a bit, but it's a pretty insignificant change, but it is something worth noticing because now you can get over 1,000 gold from a single kill. But yeah, anyways, those are the most important changes of the patch. I've been playing a lot of this patch and I think I enjoy it. There's a new map in this patch, which I think it looks a lot nicer than the previous patch. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'm going to be streaming a lot of the new season on Twitch, so come check me out there if you want to see me hopefully climb this account up to rank 2 and this account to rank 1. But anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.